short of breath. He's having, I said, he can't stand up more than two seconds. He's going to shelter. Now he profusely vomiting. They did nothing. I kept calling. Nobody did nothing. I called Senator Kim's office. I called everybody to get help. Nobody helped me. Nobody. Finally, this man can't move. Every one of the inmates in there screaming. Detainees screaming that he needs to go to the hospital. He goes. Finally, somebody took him to the hospital. Found out he was in septic shock. He had to have surgery, 2 units of blood. He had to have blood transfusion. He had to have surgery and everything. Then after he had surgery, his white blood counts became low. They sent him back into population where he became with a real bad headache and cold and everything. They did nothing about that. Nobody did anything about it. And I told him, if his white blood cells are low, you cannot put him back in population. You need to isolate him. Well, UMDJ sent him back without that instruction, though. So, but his white blood cells, so then he kept suffering. And I told him, then he had liquid coming from himself. I said, explain to them. Nobody did nothing.
And are the hospitals sending them back basically because GEO Group refuses to keep them there?
At first, before they did the surgery on him, they were sending him back, bleeding. And he told them himself, he's not going back until y'all do something about this bleeding. Because when he went there on Monday, when he got there on Wednesday, his blood count dropped 2. He said he's not going back till somebody fix this problem.
Do you know if the hospitals are refusing to treat, or GEO Group is ordering them to send them back?
He said out his own mouth that the lady, they told him that it was ICE. It wasn't GEO Group. That he was to come back through ICE. And if anything go wrong, call him. But the doctor told him after he left that Monday, she called this facility over 100 times trying to get somebody to ask them to bring him back because she knew he was coming back.
So basically, your husband was near death inside.
Yes, sir.
And at the hospital, he needs long-term care, but ICE is forcing him back.
Yes, he was enforced back to the facility. So they kept him. He refused to come back here. He refused to come back, and they kept telling him that he had to come back. But if his white blood cells are low, what are you bringing him back into population for? Shouldn't you isolate him?
And this prison has COVID has spread, flu inside, ventilation issues. There's some type of stomach thing has been going around, and they're sending somebody who is very compromised back into the general population.
Back into the population. And then he had a doctor appointment like next week. Nobody took him to the doctor. I had to call again, and I had to get this woman who tells me, yelling and screaming at me, ma'am, I don't mean no harm. Please, I beg you. Can y'all please get him help? I beg you. I beg Senator Kim office. I beg all the office. Please help me. Help me to get him out. Help me. I'm not asking you to help me to release him. What I'm asking you is to help him to get some help. Because right now he's going to die in here. They're going to be your next death in this place. Please help me. I beg these people. Nobody will help me.
And has he been able to see a judge? You said he's been in there for almost a year. What's the status of his case?
He went to see a judge. The judge had ordered him a removal. Then still, we supposed to be waiting on the bond hearing right now. We're waiting on the bond hearing because the judge.
A judge ordered them to release him?
To remove him. And then we went. The judge denied his medical release because she said that GEO Group ICE told him that he's getting proper care. How is he getting proper care when I'm begging the senators and I'm begging everybody to help him? Nobody.
Septic shock.
Right, he's in septic shock. Even it's on his medical record showing septic shock, but the judge overlooked that. She overlooked that he was in septic shock. She overlooked that he had blood transfusion. She overlooked all that. All she was worried about is the fact that, oh no, let's give him a bond hearing. It's easy. Let's give him a bond hearing. But why do you give him a bond hearing when the man needs to get medical help? He don't need a bond hearing. He need a medical help. He needs help.
Did your husband?
He's in pain. He's when he the smell. He's in pain. He's when he.
COVID has spread, flu inside, ventilation issues. There's some type of stomach thing has been going around.
I didn't want to talk about that because it was horrible. He kept on. He was even throwing this whatever away because the smell was so strong in him. But nobody did anything about it. Nobody did nothing. He put in papers after papers after papers after papers. That's why they took the tablets, because you can see they took the tablets. So they won't show us anything in there. So they took the tablets away from them. So they took the tablets for a month. And up to today, we can't even go see them. We don't know if they're okay. and we don't hear them on the phone. We don't know nothing. They would not allow us to even in the building to see them. The young lady told me the other day when I called up here to ask for visitation, oh, y'all not gonna have visitation because the protest was breaking out windows out of our car. That's what GO group told me. They's breaking out windows out of our car. Because they's breaking out windows out of our car, that stop us from coming and see who we come stop. I didn't break your window. So why can't I come here and see him? I didn't do nothing to your car. So why you holding me back from seeing him? Oh, and do you know some of the GO groups, they had to fight, they was fighting the protesters because the protesters break, so they had to fight the protesters. That had nothing to do with me, ma'am. Nobody fought me. So why can't I go in and see my husband?
You know, I hate to ask this, but I mean, every day you don't know if he's alive. You don't know if he's...
If he doesn't call me, I would never know. To see his face, I don't know, because Corona is a guy, he doesn't speak about his thing. You see it in him, but he won't speak about it. But I'm the different because I pushes him. No, this is not right. When I'm sitting in front of him, visiting him one night, I'm looking at his eyes. I'm like, your eyes are white, like real white. Your bed is like blue is white. What's going on? That's when I immediately called. Please help me. One of the volunteers here, I don't know if I'm able to say his name or not, but one of the volunteers that work here, he took it upon himself. I came out one day crying because the way he was looking, and it hurted me so much to see him looking like that. One of the volunteers, Mr. Adam, I'm going to say his name, Mr. Adam, he took it upon, he said, okay, Tracy, what are we going to do? He wrote my name down. He wrote information. We started contacting every office to ask for help, begging for help. We contact every office, begging for help. Nobody. Up to right now, nobody. Nobody called me. I even went down to an office meeting down on 50, down on Park Place or downtown. I went to an office, still nothing.
How old is your husband?
My husband's 39.
So he's relatively young and having this severe...
Then they telling him this is happening. But the point is, the point is that no one's doing anything. He's sitting there, he's just rotting in there.
You've contacted New Jersey senators, congresspeople?
Yes, I have. I even been down to an office on downtown, I think it's on Park Place or Place, something like that, downtown Newark. I went to an office down there and I spoke with them twice, not once. We spoke. Nobody did nothing still. Nobody's trying to make sure he's okay. He was just telling me that one day he's having a really bad headache. I said, that's because you wasn't properly healed. If they would have properly healed you, you would never be going through this problem. He have a real bad headache. He still see a little blood here and there.
I would assume if you've been in septic shock and you have internal bleeding, you need medication, rest, hydration. It doesn't sound like he's getting most of that.
Actually, he's not getting. They're giving him. They give him Metamucil. They give him Metamucil and they're giving him Metamucil and Marilax.
That's for constipation, not internal stomach bleeding.
They give him Marilax and Metamucil, and they was before giving him an iron pill, but now he no longer get that one. He don't get that no more. He only get that once a week now.
And you said you and him have a child?
Yeah, we have a 12-year-old. My 12-year-old is my biological child, but he helped me raise my child. He's helping me raise my child. Right now, he want to do adoption for my 12-year-old. Yes. My 12-year-old, since he been there, he won't come here. He refused to come here. I try to activate. Come on, he would refuse to see him like that. He do not want to see him like that. When he come here, he always have his face turned back. He would not look at him. You know, he would not look at him. That's because he don't want to see him in that condition. I asked him, what's wrong? He said he don't want to see him in that condition. He was like, Mama, do you see how he be looking in there and all them people around him? See, my son refused to come to this facility because he don't want to see his dad in that position. And that's what he called him, Dad. He don't call him by his name. He call him Dad.
How's your son doing emotionally with his father in there?
Actually, emotionally, my son holds a lot in, but he does talk about it. We was talking about it last night. I said to him, I was like, Ron might be home soon. That's what I told him. I said, he might be home soon. My son said to me, he was like, Mama, they keep saying that to me. They keep saying it to me. I keep waiting and waiting. He said, nothing happening. I was like, we just have to wait a little longer. We'll get there. Promise, we'll get there. He was like, Mama, when? When we get there? So he had questions and stuff. I have Haron, when Haron calls, Haron will ask him. Like right now, he go to Islamic school. He have a Quran reading coming up. Haron is upset because he's not there to teach him the right way, the proper way. He's not there to make sure Kwame started acting out in school, which is a true statement. He started acting out in school. Because when Haron got in the situation, Kwame became different. I have to be more of the father and the mother now. No, you have to do this. We have to do this. You have to do this. But Harun, he more like he in the school before I could be at work. Kwame at school. They don't call me. They call him. He's the one. I'm the emergency contact. He's the parent. I'm the emergency contact. So they call him. He's at the school. Don't tell me nothing. He took care of all of that. Kwame had his college meeting. He was there. Kwame had to go somewhere. He was there. And now we don't have that anymore. All we have, and he would not come here. He would not come here because the fact that it hurts all of us that he going through. Even his family back home, it hurts that he have to go through so much stress every day. It's like this man is telling me, oh, "Babe, I'm gonna call you back. My head is hurting really, really bad." No, I don't know.
Have they? They say, well, they could just self-deport. Have they given him the option of self-deporting?
Self-deportation is not in our book right now for self-deportation. I feel that at this point they took him. He didn't take them. They took him. So therefore they need to release him. He don't need to release himself. They need to release him. Why would he self-deport when you took him? He didn't call you and say you come and get him. You came and picked him up. He never asked you to come and get him.
And he has no criminal record either.
We have no criminal records at all. We have no type of criminal records. But they came and got him. So self-deportation is like saying, okay, I asked you to come pick me up. No. You pick me up. You release me. You release me back where you got me from.
And what's your husband's name?
His name is Harun Zachariah.
Can I just add that, his habeas was granted, and that's the reason why they haven't moved him, but they were trying to shape...
For people that don't know what that means, when you say his habeas was granted, his habeas corpus...
writ of habeas corpus was filed with the District Court of New Jersey. It was granted that the judge allow him to have a bond hearing because he's over 10 months detained, going to 11, going to a year now. It'll be moving to a year that he's detained, and he's been compliant. He was on his ICE checkings. He was following all the rules. He was going to court. They re-detained him, and another year of his life he spent in detention where he's having all these severe medical complications. So people need to realize and be cognizant of like what we are doing to people here, right? And he was called downstairs and while all of this protest, and this is a form of retaliation, lying to him that his lawyer was here to see him when that was not the case. So they were most likely trying to coerce him or trying to move him. They were trying to be punitive, intimidate, induce fear in him. And he kind of good thing he had called Tracy and said, I don't understand. Why would they say my lawyer's here to see me? Because I had no indication that's going to happen. So they were trying, and they do this often. It's not the first case that we know where they're taking people out of the unit and saying your lawyer's here, and then they're putting them in solitary confinement. Because I've had people I've spoken, and that's what happened to them. The other thing you have to also realize, the reason why we are seeing subpar to no proper medical care in a lot of these facilities, because ICE is paying, right? DHS is paying. They're contracting to a vendor to pay a certain amount of money, which whatever it may be. This contract, I think it's around $180 to $90 per day for somebody in detention. And with that money, you need to now provide all the levels of care, right? Includes providing food, okay, providing medical care,
for people that
providing all the other necessities that you need to provide for somebody you are housing. And guess what? It's a for-profit prison industry. So guess what? Again, what does it mean? It means I'm going to cut corners and I'm going to give you, it's going to take $30 for us to, as an example, to keep you in detention, and let's provide you low, subpar, any care that you may need because we need to make a profit out of you. That's why we are seeing what we are seeing in this facility, medical negligence, right? And ICE has to approve these surgeries. If they don't get that approved, then they can't have it. And that has been working for many, many years. This is not something new. ICE has to approve all of the excess in medical care that's needed.
ICE aren't doctors. They don't. What medical expertise does ICE have to approve or...
doctor in there, full-time doctor for 1,000 people. So guess what? If the doctor's seeing 40 to 50 people a day, the doctor is missing a lot of people, right? You file a medical request. It can take 2-3 days to respond. It's triage. And everything is, oh, you have a headache. Oh, let's just, you maybe, oh, that's fine. It's blow over. Let's give you a Tylenol. everything, one pill fits all is the Tylenol pill that they would give you in there for any ailment.
I just can't believe they gave your husband constipation medication when he was in septic shock.
She gave him Pepto-Bismol. He's vomiting, usually vomiting. She came, he didn't know what, he said, babe, they gave me some pink stuff. I said, Pepto-Bismol? He's like, yeah. I said, oh, so I called. I was like, you gave him Pepto? Ma'am, you can call back in the morning and talk to someone.
And did the hospital tell your husband or you that if he doesn't come back or he doesn't get care, he could die?
What the hospital told us is that he need more further care than what they gave him. Right there, when they just the hospital is working on ice dollar. I'm gonna say it like that. Ice dollar. They don't give all that because they feel like it'll be a problem if they tell us that he gonna die if he don't come back. He don't get urgency. They're not gonna give you that information.
Because you think they worry about ice.
They would never give us that information. They know that they would never give us the information. When I got his medical records, I read his medical records, and I got his medical records at home, and it said biggest date, and I highlighted it. These are things I highlighted. It says sepsis on there. I highlighted for the judge. I highlighted it, and they still. And I highlighted that part, and I highlighted he came on Monday and Wednesday, and his blood count dropped twice, 2 counts. I highlighted that.
What medical sounds to me, I don't want to be dramatic, but it sounds like he was on the brink of death, and if he wasn't sent to the hospital, he very likely would have died.
We all know sepsis will take you out. We all know sepsis going to the body, it causes infection in the bloodstream. And once infection is your bloodstream, it's no other way. It's like if your body's not able to fight it off, that's the next thing's going to happen. You're going to end up going into a coma. After a coma, that's death.
And what's your response? You hear it. The president, his supporters say they're criminals, the worst of the worst. What's your response? I just can't believe
to Trump. Okay.
Constipation medication.
I'm still trying to figure out why this man in the White House. So my response to him, I don't even have a response to this young man because I'm just still trying to figure out how did he get there. But my response to him is that we don't know who is his vendetta against. What are you trying? I feel for Trump himself. I just don't think I don't know what to say. I don't even know.
Forget Trump. Your husband doesn't sound like the worst of the worst. He sounds like a good father, a good husband who needs medical care.
Actually, that's what he needs. He needs someone. He needs to come out and get care. He needs help. He needs help. We begging for help. No one is helping us. Even I seen the Senator Kim. I seen him out here talking and stuff like that. I felt heartbroken because as of now, you did nothing for us. Even the other people, the other ones, they talking. I felt heartbroken because they did nothing for us. This man suffered day, and nobody did anything.
John, just take the mic for a little bit. I want to exchange info with her.
How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing all right. Don't forget to smash the like button, share this live stream, share these stories. These stories are not getting out there. Stories like Tracy and her husband and their child, and Gabriella and Martin Soto and their children. So share these stories with your friends, your family, talk about them. I've been asking people back in, whenever I leave Delaney Hall, leave Newark, and I go around, I'm just doing my thing. And I'm asking people if they see what's happening in Newark, outside of Delaney Hall, and everybody's like, no, what's going on? What's happening? It's so fucking frustrating that nobody has any idea what is really happening. And not just here at Delaney Hall, but in so many of these death camps all over the country.
I just want to show this because that was pretty depressing. So let's give you some positive. But this is an image. Obviously, he's not in it because this is outside. But this is an image of you on your wedding day, and that's the imam. Can you share how were you able to get married inside? I'm sure that wasn't an easy process.
Oh no, that wasn't easy at all. I started this process last year in August. Requesting for authorization to marry him. I called the chaplain, which the chaplain was very helpful. I'm not gonna deny it. The chaplain was very helpful for me. He was telling me what to do, how to do it, what I need to do, and stuff like that. I went to the clerk's office. The clerks told me exactly what I need to do. I contacted ICE. Starting August, I heard nothing. I think it was like one day I went down. I was downtown, so I went into the office, down on Federal Street, and I went in there. I talked to this young lady who was at the front desk. She brought out Maurice. Maurice came out and told me to email him, and I should email him. This is around Christmas. I should email him, and he'll let me know. I emailed him, nothing, zero, nothing. Okay, just this year, I was like, you know something, it's taking too long. I went down there as of March, or was it April? Either March or February. I went down there, and I talked to the same young lady. And she called Maurice. Maurice told me to email him again. That's how we got the paper. Other than that, almost a year came about. About 10 months, we couldn't get married. They kept holding us back. I kept asking the chaplain kept emailing me. Oh, you got to talk to ICE. You got to get information from ICE. You got to do this from ICE. You got to make sure ICE do this and make sure ICE do this. And ICE was not helping us. They make you do an outreach in New York. That's what you send the paper to. Outreach in New York. They don't respond.
My last question to you is, you hear all these slogans, America's land of the free, greatest country on earth, shining city, and all that.
But wasn't America built on immigrants? That's what I thought. I thought America was built on immigrants. So why are you trying to push all the immigrants out? You have a lot of... Take the people and things in Florida. Your fruits and stuff is coming low now because y'all done removed half of their workers away. For what reason? What are you proving? I can see if these people kill somebody. You got murderers out here. Y'all doing nothing. But y'all running behind people who trying to make a living. We Americans, yes, I am American. I thank God. But y'all have people out here who's killing people every single day, and they running around killing the next person. But y'all got immigrants who's working, trying to make money, trying to provide for their family. Y'all snatching them up, putting them in prison. And treat them like prisoners. When my husband went to the hospital, he had shackles on. Why do he have shackles on?
While in septic shock, they had him in shackles.
Wait a minute, and then the best part about it, after he had his surgery, one of the guards who came in the room with him tightened his handcuffs to the bed tighter while he sit down to eat. Where is he going? He just had surgery. Where is he going? Why is he in shackles? Why do you have shackles on his arm? He's not a criminal. You took him. He didn't take you. He didn't ask for you. He didn't tell you to come and get him. You came and got him on your own. Why y'all shackling him? You take him to the hospital. A man can barely walk. Then one of the GO group guy told him he stink. Told him he stink.
He stinks?
He stink. A man who barely can stand up. You had the nerves out your mouth to tell him he stinks. We thank you. We thank you for that. And I always tell my husband, pray for the ones who don't know better. I always pray for the ones who don't know better. Because I know for a fact he didn't know better. So pray for him. He don't know better. Don't get upset. Don't let him get to you, or don't do none of that. Just pray for him. That's it.
He's lucky to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. He say that all the time. Yeah.
I have your number, so I'm going to contact you after this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Smash the like button, share this live stream. I want to talk to one more person before we wrap up. It is very hot out, so we're not going to be going. And by the way, just to let you know, there have been people asking, where you been? Where you been? Well, we can't be live every single night, unfortunately. So the last few nights, John has been here recording footage. For various reasons, I couldn't get down here, including my back is screwed up. John couldn't be here every single night. He does have a child that he has to care for as well. We were live, I think, for like the first 16 or 17 days. And then John has been on the ground during the day recording. So we do have interviews that we're going to get out for you that we have recorded over the last few days. We also didn't want to go live because we have staff a small staff, but we have staff behind the scenes that have been working every day, 16, 17 hours a day, to support us on the ground. So people do need a break. But this weekend coming up, my colleague JT Siskowski, he's coming here. So John, JT are going to be live, not only from here. We're going to be monitoring what's going on with the World Cup. As you know, the World Cup is starting today, this weekend, and we're hearing, unfortunately, of the potential for increased ICE activity, ICE raids, ICE abductions. So JT and John will be all over it. We might also be live from D.C. on Sunday from Trump's absurd UFC fight and the protest there. So we're everywhere, folks. If you don't see us live one night, trust me, we're not taking a break. We're recording during the day. We're not live because we can't be live every single night. Also, this continued coverage, we have been on the ground every single day of this. Even if you don't see us live every single day, we've been here recording during the day. It's extremely expensive. I need your help. I'm being honest. We cannot afford to continue at this pace if we don't grow several hundred more paid members like now. So if you have not yet signed up, if you can't support us financially, okay, no shame. But if you have as little as $5 a month, do you see CNN here? MS Now? Fox News? New York Times? Washington Post? All of them. Other big independent media, so-called independent media, they're not here. They're not here in 90 degrees. The majority weren't here when grenades were being fired at us, when horses were running into our camera and rushing into us. They're not sleeping in their cars like John has several nights. So please support us. I want to speak with Gabriella. Okay. I'm just going to interview him, and then I want to talk to you. Okay. Can I speak with you, sir? I could come up there. Yeah, I could come up there.
I just was trying to say, man, I appreciate you, man. Like, you're like a must superstar, man. I know you were you was before, and when you went out, man, I just feel like you're just authentic. You're real. You push the envelope. You give us what we need. So I know you want to interview me, but I just want to say thank you, man.
Forget about me. Forget about me. Can you give the audience? Some might be religious, some might not. Can you give them the faith-fearing reason that they should be supporting status for as low as $5 a month?
Amen. Well, number one, status quo is consistent. I think when we talk about an attack on our media, we talk about journalists who have compromised their integrity, who are not reporting on all sides of the stories. Right? We see this continuation of attacks on the media, and we see the complicity of media. And status quo has just been consistent. I appreciate their coverage. I appreciate it on a high level, how they still cover D.C., they still cover policy, they cover the impact that is happening globally, but also they get down to the grassroots movements. They connect with family members in Delaney Hall, on the streets of Michigan, all throughout this country. And we need to support folks like him and others who are doing this work. Because as we see recently, there's a doubling down of silencing our mainstream media. And we see him and others who are doing this work. Because as we see recently, there's a doubling down of silencing our mainstream media. And we see him and others who are doing this work. Because as we see recently, there's a doubling down of silencing our mainstream media. And I realize how compromised our media is. Not one perspective of the Palestinian people. And when we went there, we went to be witnesses. And they said they didn't need our money, they needed us to tell the truth. And when we came back, we had to double down on truth-telling because the media was not reporting on the daily terrorism and human abuses that we were seeing. And organizations and media sources like this right here, Status Coup, needs to be the one ones that we fund, that we donate to, and so I appreciate them for that.
And I'll also add, and this is not actually, it's not to toot our own horn, but just so you know, I can't tell you, I mean, not like a few, I'm talking like at least 50 people came up to me over the last 20 days and said, I saw your coverage and I got in my car and came. So it's not just informing people. Our job is both to inform and activate people. I don't personally consider, I think my journalism is my activism, right? And that happened at Standing Rock too, where so many people came up to me at Standing Rock a decade ago saying, I saw you guys and I had no idea. I didn't even know it was happening, and I organized people to come. And also, you know, on a smaller scale, a couple days ago, the mayor of Newark was unconstitutionally and illegally blocking protesters and journalists from wearing protective gear. He was refusing to let protesters in with protective gear. If I do say so myself, I did a little rant. I got attention on it. Then attorneys got on his ass, and he folded like a cheap tent. Now, I'm not so special. Any journalist can do that, but most of them, for a variety of reasons, don't. So that's why it matters to be out here. And what he described, we're doing this with 1/10, if that, of the money that CNN, MS Now, even local news have. So your $5 a month, if that's all you can do, really makes a difference. Statuscoupnews.com/join. Please support us. Now,
And I will be donating today. So if I could get 20 people to give $5, I will match you. Okay?
don't. I'm talking to Jesus.
Yes, and I'm being serious about that too, not a joke.
Now let me ask you.
Oh yeah. I'm putting pressure here. You know. It's okay. Thank you so much.
Why didn't you tell me there was a tree? We could have been shaded this whole time. I'm burning at it. Tell me, number one, are you a minister, a pastor? What groups are you involved with? I've seen you on the front lines here, like as police are firing grenades. Why is this so important to you to be out here, not just for days like this, but even when you're putting yourself at risk?
Yeah, I'm a minister.
What's your name, too?
Minister Archange Antoine. I'm with the Clergy Coalition for Liberation. It is our responsibility to be out here. I think it's important, number one, to show up, because a lot of people feel that the church and faith leaders have been compromised, right? They don't show up, right? They don't come out. There's a fear, or they're complicit. They've defended the state, right? They've surveyed state violence. And I have to remind people it's important for us to reclaim Jesus, and it's to reclaim the message of Jesus. And one of the most important things to a Christian is the gospel. And the gospel is pretty clear. It's good news to the poor, to the oppressed, to the marginalized, those who are incarcerated, those who filled with debt. And what we see here today is the gospel message telling us that we must stand in solidarity. My family are also immigrants from Haiti, right? And so for a long time, most of the detention centers in the country were full. At one point, there was the highest concentration of folks who are Haitian, of descent. So this is not just a Latino, Spanish-speaking South and Central American thing. We have a whole lot of black people who are in these systems. But more importantly, what's happening in Delaney is actually happening in these detention centers all around, these jails and these prisons. We just seen Michigan, 4 women be killed in a prison system, right? And we see that all day long. But that's why today I came to show solidarity with the women who are on a hunger strike, who are calling for justice, who are being sexually assaulted, and who are demanding that a prison guard be fired for doing that to them. But more importantly, it's to say that our movements cannot win if we continue doing things separately. We need the immigrant rights movement and the ending mass incarceration movement to join forces. We need to close down private prisons. We need to stop slave labor, and we need to make sure that humanity is respected, because the governor is not doing it, the president is not doing it, and none of these mayors are going to do it. It's the people in our power that has it, and God is on our side. Whenever we stand for justice, whenever we speak to injustice, whenever we speak to dehumanization, we are literally calling on the God to be with us as we do God's work. And we can't be gaslit by people who are making a scene, by being out here, who are demanding right, by calling out elected officials, by calling out the system that we are bad. No, we're actually right. We're righteous on our stance and with our standing with our sisters and brothers who are being dehumanized.
You know, I want to make a point, and I'm sure this is not going to be breaking news to you, but the audience might not know. I'll say it. I don't want to get you in trouble. There's a whole lot of faith leaders around the country. I've met a whole lot of them. Frankly, they've been co-opted or corrupted. I don't want to name names, but I'll tell you, in Flint, Michigan, for example, I've been there over 20 times. There's an ongoing water disaster. 12 years later, the water is still bad. And I've seen this where, you know, the community in a lot of places is pretty religious, a lot of churches, a place like Flint, and the politicians use the pastors and the ministers to push their message, which is often lies, to their parishioners or their congregants, and then those congregants then go keep voting for those corrupt politicians. And in exchange, those ministers, pastors, I'm not calling them evil, but they get money from the city or the state. There is a lot of kind of you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, from local officials onto religious leaders. And I know for a fact it even happened here during the Delaney Hall protest. Probably not to you, but I do know Governor Sherrill's office reached out to local faith leaders to try and essentially calm down the protesters.
Okay.
So am I off on any of this?
No. If you give me 1 second, I'm going to walk you through the quick history. When Constantine co-opted Christianity, he brought in a bunch of faith leaders to do the state's business. During the 1400s, starting in the 1400s, going into the 1500s, during feudalism, the rich and the powerful co-opted a lot of faith leaders to do their biddings and to tell the poor to accept their conditions, right? During enslavement of African people, we had a whole lot of folks who were preachers and ministers who were justifying the enslavement. However, in every single one of those parts of history, there was a group of faith leaders and people in the community who said, what you're doing is wrong. You're complicit. You sold out to Constantine. You sold out us who are here, godly people, to the rich and the powerful during the feudalism. And you had enslaved people who said, that is the slave religion. That is not the religion of our ancestors. That's not the religion of Jesus that calls us to liberation and freedom. And I affirm what you say to say, we still have that same system today. I called out one of the preachers who were at the press conference with him. His name was Pastor Bartley. He stood up there and blessed state violence against protesters. He said that he was thankful that I was tear gassed outside by the state police. He literally came out here and just did a performance selfie and tried to act like he's in solidarity when I called him out and I said, you demonize our sisters and brothers who are out here and you've never been out here one time. My point is saying, we have to hold them accountable. We have to call them out. But more importantly, we have to reclaim the faith. We can't allow them to hold on to the faith and say that this is it is. No, we have to say that they're wrong. We have to say that Jesus would not be in that business. And if Jesus was here, he would not be with the state. He would not be with Newark. He would not be with the governor. He would not be with Trump. He would be with the people. Why? Because the state end up killing him. He knows that the state is violent, right? When you hear Jesus talk about the conditions in the prisons, that is a critique of the government. That is not him just solidarity. He is critiquing the government. And my point is saying they will continue to exist. We need to wake up. We need to ask questions. We need to challenge them. And if your pastor and your priest or your imam or your rabbi is complicit, then you move from them and you stand with the people.
My last question to you, and if you don't mind, I want you to look right into the camera because I think this one's important. You know, I'm not religious.
Then you move from them and you stand with the people.
My last question to you, and if you don't mind, I want you to look right into the camera because I think this one's important. You know, I'm not religious.
Then you move from them and you stand with the people.
My last question to you, and if you don't mind, I want you to look right into the camera because I think this fear in Christians. Evangelical. Voting bloc that got Donald Trump elected in the first place. And again, I'm not religious, but it seems out of step to me. How can, 25, 30% of the country, if that anymore, that is supporting this, that is saying this is, law and order, and, these people are the worst of the worst, how can they proclaim that they are God-fearing, practicing Christians, when in reality it just seems to me to be Christian fundamentalism and zealotry?
Yeah. Again, I think you're spot on with your analysis. The way I look at it from a historical standpoint, I'll just continue looking at history. History has always shown us that, number one, that slavery wasn't just because people were evil. It was because people made a whole lot of money. And what we have during the times of slavery, and I'm giving context of American slavery, you had a whole lot of people who then, in the religious faith, in the Christian community, where it became a way of making money, of proselytizing and converting groups, and then quote-unquote going on missions. So we have a whole economy that was built on people's economic interests, not their spiritual connection to God. And the reason why I bring that up is because what we see being professed today is a continuation of what Frederick Douglass says, the slaveholders' religion, not true Christianity. And what does that mean? That means that people will use quote-unquote religious terms in order to justify their means to make profits, to be in power, to dehumanize other people, or to affirm corporate interests, not in humanity. And so when I see people like Trump and other Democrats or independents or whoever the case is can say that they believe in God on one hand, and at the same time dehumanize and call for the arrest of undocumented immigrants, I know that you're not serving to serve God as me. When I can see you say that you believe in God and you call for the brutalization of citizens by the state's hand, I know you're not serving the same God as me. And so I just believe that I think the hardest thing to do is to say someone that professes your faith is actually not practicing the faith. And I'm comfortable doing that, and I hope that everybody else is. And I would say, the last thing I would say is the number one measure of whether somebody's practicing Christianity is whether or not they are living the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can quote all the other scriptures you want, but if you're not living the gospel, it's impossible to serve Christ.
You got me ready to convert. You got me ready. I hope my Jewish father, Zionist as he is, isn't watching, because I might be converting soon. Thank you, sir. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have his contact? You got me ready. Okay. Did I give you my card? You got me ready. Let me exchange it. I might be converting soon. Thank you, sir. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have his contact? You got me ready. Did I give you my card? You got me ready. Let me exchange it.
I'm in Jersey.
All right, folks, we're almost done here, but I wanted to speak with Smash the like button, share this live stream, tilt the camera a little bit. All right, folks. We're almost done here, this is Gabriela Soto, and maybe some of you have not been watching since the beginning of the ICE hunger strike, but I would say you are the leading force that kind of started or helped organize the protest outside. Your husband, Martin Soto, unfortunately was held hostage in here for several months, and as retaliation, Geo Group and ICE re-abducted him and moved him about 20 minutes down the street to Elizabeth ICE prison, which, if you don't know, the Elizabeth ICE prison was supposed to close, but the Biden administration actually helped keep it open. So it's not just Trump, unfortunately. I know a lot of people think, oh, it's only Republicans. No, the Biden administration stepped in. We're sitting. You're pregnant, so and it's hot out. It's hot out. But tell me about we know that about 2 weeks ago now they took Martin and sent him three. They took Martin and sent him to Elizabeth. The ICE has been trying to kind of create charges against him for quote unquote attacking. And you too. So tell me about what's been happening.
So I have over 30 pending criminal charges, which I find kind of funny because one of them is attempted suicide in front of a federal agency.
And you too. So tell me about what's been happening.
So I have over 30 pending criminal charges, which I find kind of funny because one of them is attempted suicide in front of a federal agency.
Some of the other charges there.
The property damage to a federal vehicle for over $100K, endangerment to.
Saying you damaged a federal vehicle?
All I did was get my phone and like tap on a window. That's not property damage. What else? Endangerment to the federal agency.
By standing outside, demanding your husband be released?
Probably that. They didn't give an explanation. What was it? Possession of weapon in front of a federal agency. I don't know what weapon I could have had. I mean, I had my phone, but that's about it.
Apparently in the Trump administration, your phone is now a weapon, and they're also using our phones to spy on us anyway. And Martin, they clearly retaliated against him. He was one of the first prisoners to be transferred out of here was the first one. And when he was moved into Elizabeth, what has been the conditions? Because my understanding, he's basically been in solitary for a lot of it.
He's been in solitary for 3 weeks since May 25th until like a couple days ago. Now he is in a unit, but the bad thing about that is that they're not. Everybody else goes out for recreation time. He's the only one that's not allowed because they don't want him socializing with over a lot of people, I would say.
Basically, they moved him out of here as retaliation. Then they put him in solitary confinement out of retaliation, and now they won't let him join other prisoners in recreation as retaliation.
He still can't order commissary. He can only have phone calls. That's about it. Like, he's limited on everything. He's in a unit, but he's very limited. The whole thing is just farce. And how you mentioned it was not just the Trump administration, it was the Biden administration also. Then again, I mean, Biden kind of was a puppet for the Republicans because they basically used him to do whatever they wanted, which is not. I honestly, you can't be even more mad about it because you have to be more mad because they're using these people who have good intentions. You don't even know their intentions, but any politician that wants to do good, they're just trying to knock them down. And that is wrong with the system because we are giving these people power over us. Just a couple days ago, like they raised the amount of fundings for detention centers.
$71 billion they're giving to ICE, Border Patrol, prisons like this.
And it's like, why? Like, why are you doing that? Like, I don't understand why people are trying to deport Americans that have even residency. Like, I'm not just advocating for my own husband. I'm advocating for a lot of detainees. There's a detention center in Delhi that has kids. There's 50 kids that are between the ages of 1 and 3, and the rest are just older kids. But how are you doing this? Like,
I should mention about that, the Delhi ICE camp, that they have hundreds of children. The viral, super popular children's YouTuber, Miss Rachel, who also came down here, by the way, a few days ago. She's been down to Delhi, and she posted this morning that Congressman Joaquin Castro is now putting forth some type of legislation to close Delhi because it has hundreds of kids and horrific conditions inside.
but they have to free those kids before they even close down a detention center. And I think that's what the politicians are not understanding what we're trying to say. Our message is not just to close Delaney Hall, close the detention centers. Our message is to free the people first. Because if you just close down the center, they're just going to keep district. To close Delaney Hall, close the detention centers. Our message is to free the people first.
Colorado, Louisiana, Pennsylvania, they're just kind of moving. Louisiana, Pennsylvania, they're just kind of moving. Colorado, Louisiana, Pennsylvania, they're just kind of moving.
For 30 years in this country. Like,